Hello, it's the 5th of July, 2022. The day is warming up here in Green Valley, Arizona, as it always does this time of year. I wanted to share a few thoughts of a new practice or a new understanding of a practice that's emerging in my life. All my adult life, I've wanted to live, you might call it, in the service of God. For the last few decades of my life, that idea of the service of God has been gently transformed into in the flow of and in the relationship with the Tao, the universal energy, the divine force of life. This is just a semantic shift in many ways, but the word God and doing the will of God or serving God has been robbed for me by my culture and by strict religious understandings of the idea of God and the will of God that actually separates people rather than unites them. The central concept remains pure, but it's much easier for me to access when I think of myself as wanting to be in the flow of and in the energy of the movement of the universal Tao. The idea of doing the will of God is strangely fraught with punishment if one doesn't. And I've said before that there is no possibility in my mind that the divine energy that manifested the cosmos and flows through every life in the cosmos is in any way interested in punishment. The only punishment we experience is the difficulty that arises and the suffering that arises when we consciously and unconsciously separate ourselves from that divine flow. But no eternal or external punishment ever comes from the divine. Having said that, I find that my life is more productive, content, and filled with compassion when I'm more consciously connected with the idea of the flow, the movement of the Tao, the De, Te, from the Tao Te Ching, the internal natural power that arises in my life when my conscious mind is not filled with the cacophony of voices and conflicting desires and separation that my culture has caused, but is more gentle and quiet and able to move with the flow of Tao. What I've started doing is personify the Tao a little bit by saying, what do you want to do through me now? Now, it's very much the same idea as, dear God, what do you want me to do? And people who are comfortable using that language, bless your heart, it's the same thing. But for me, I can personify the Tao and say, what's your flow right now in me? I want to be a part of that. And the first thing that arises is the multitude of conditional ideas that have been forced into my mind over the decades of the right thing to do. Well, you're asking what I want you to do? Well, here, and you should be doing this, and you should be doing that. And all the way from there's work to do outside to you should be praying, or you should be meditating, or you should be doing this, or you should be. And I shut down. I can't do all these things. I can't possibly serve all these contrary and separative ideas of what God, divine, Tao wants me to do. They're all part of a conditioned mind that comes from parents and teachers and churches and synagogues and just the years and years and years of this is what you're supposed to do. What I'm doing is just very calmly saying, what do you want? How do you want this moment to flow? And all those crazy ideas come to my mind. And I just let them sit there because I know that's not it. And I wait. And if nothing clear comes to my mind, I just read a book or do some Qigong. And with the assumption that if nothing really clear is coming to my mind, then whatever I do is what you want to do. And I try to separate it from this ideas of what I should be doing. Because if I'm not doing what I should be doing, I'm going to be in trouble. From the Tao's perspective, from the divine flow of life, I'll never be in trouble. I may experience emotional and mental suffering because of my own divided mind, but I'll never be in trouble. So letting go of the idea that I'll be in trouble, I can read a book, do some Qigong, take a nap, take a walk, watch a video, anything. But the more I ask that question of what's the flow want to do in me right now? How does it want to flow through me? How is it naturally flowing through me? The more I ask that question and the quieter I am in listening for the answer, the more I find that occasionally I'll begin to sense read a book, and then something will arise and I'll just do it. That's what I'm doing now. I'm making this video. Is it what I'm supposed to be doing? I don't ask that question anymore. I'm just looking for what's the flow right now? And how can I consciously be a part of it? Very, very quietly in the back of my mind is make a video about this process. So I did. And here it is. Now I'm going to read a book. I hope your day is filled with peace and joy.